The Canadian government is now running ads trying to convince people to take their own lives. This is not a joke. What I'm about to show you is an actual ad from the Canadian government.
Sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles.
You already know what it is. It's your boy Laid Back with another reaction, another review, another episode. Hey, TikTok, you up to bat? Wow. It's your boy Laid Back. Welcome back to my channel. Hey, two things we gotta do. You gotta hit that subscribe button. I'm drinking this water. You already know what it is, man. Think rich in 2026. Think rich in 2026. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Stay up to date with all the videos. We back with another one, man. Hey, make sure you tap into my TikTok. I'm telling you, tap into my TikTok. It's litty. Live trash or pass. It's fire over there. But look, we back with another one, man. We got another conspiracy. Whole bunch of wild stuff going on in this one, squad. So you make it to the end of this one, you a real one for real. I'm just gonna tell you, and I'm hearting every comment. Don't forget, every comment getting a heart. But let's go ahead and get into it. Fire Squad, what's poppin'? Let's get it. Before we get back into the video, I want to tell you guys a quick and easy way that you can make money just by playing games on your phone. Free Cash is a program that helps games and apps to find new users. So how it works is the companies get paid just from you playing the games. But where Free Cash comes in is they take some of that money and they reroute it to you. Now, this is not a get rich quick scheme. You actually have to play the games to actually get the money. So you can either hit the link in my description or you can use a QR code on the screen. Super easy to sign up. All you need is an email and a password. If you use the link, they'll give you $5 immediately to your account, credited to your account by using the link. And it's super easy to withdraw. You can either withdraw through Bitcoin, PayPal, or bank transfer. Super easy. Most people is making like $10 to $20 a day. But if you got some time, you can really lock in. You can see that this game right here is paying $1,020 just to complete it. So it's games out there where you can make some money for real, but you got to lock in and put the time in though. So if you already use your phone to play games and stuff like that, let that phone actually make some money for you too. So make sure you hit that link in the description, hit the QR code, make some easy money, man. Shout out to the squad. Peace.
The CIA has a declassified document sitting in government archives right now that proves reality is a hologram.
That your consciousness can leave your body.
And that your mind can access information that hasn't even happened yet. And it's been sitting in those archives for 40 years and almost no one knows anything about it. In 1983, a lieutenant in Army intelligence named Wayne McDonnell is ordered to evaluate the gateway experience. A program that uses sound to push human consciousness outside of the body, beyond time, and into states that mystics spent literal lifetimes trying to master. So in this 29-page detailed document, the US military confirms that consciousness operates outside of our bodies, that the universe itself is a hologram, and that with the right training, you watching this right now, you can exit space-time entirely.
Your brain has two hemispheres where the left handles logic and linear time and the right handles intuition and pattern recognition. Most of the time they're firing out of sync, chaotic and weak. A regular light bulb produces light, but the photons scatter everywhere with no focus or no power, whereas a laser focuses those same photons into coherence, unified into a beam so concentrated that it can cut through steel and perform surgery at the cellular level. McDonnell goes deep into quantum mechanics and explains that matter is not solid. At the quantum level, everything is energy oscillating as waves. But here's the part that breaks your brain. You are not a continuous object. Between every tick of Planck time, you flicker in and out of existence as a standing wave pattern, blinking on and off trillions of times per second, only held together by coherence.
You think you're solid, you think you're here, but in reality, you're just a pattern of information flickering in and out of existence faster than your mind can even process. So if matter is energy at a lower frequency and energy is information encoded into wave functions, then what is life really? Well, according to McDonnell, life itself is a hologram, and in a hologram, every one piece contains the whole picture. And the universe works in the same exact way, because any one given point within the universe contains contains information about the whole universe, which is why particles on opposite sides of the galaxy remain connected. They're not sending information across space. They're accessing the same exact informational field. Your brain doesn't generate consciousness, it tunes into it. Consciousness exists within that informational field. And your brain is a literal radio, and the gateway process teaches you how to tune into the right channels.
The report maps these channels as focus levels. Focus 10 is body asleep, mind awake, where you've detached consciousness from the body. And focus 12 is expanded awareness, where you can perceive things outside of your body. And then focus 15 allows you to transcend all limitations of time. So the past and the future become accessible, just like the scene in Interstellar with the Tesseract. And then there's focus 21, which allows you to reach the absolute edge between physical reality and the unknown. And then at the deepest level, when your brain is coherent enough, you reach what McDonald calls the absolute, an infinite field of energy at rest, the 0 point field where all energy and all information originates. In religious terms, this is literally God, Brahman, and the Tao. And in physics terms, it's the quantum vacuum. When you finally hit that state, you're not visiting it, you're returning to it, because that's what you are, a fragment of the infinite temporarily condensed into form, experiencing itself.
But here's the twist. Mystics have already discovered this centuries ago through meditation, prayer, chanting, and fasting. Natural techniques that can also be used as hemispheric coherence tools. The Monroe Institute simply industrialized it using audio technology, and naturally the military learned how to weaponize it. So here's the real question. If the government knows that consciousness survives death, if they know that the mind can access information across time and space, if they know that reality itself is merely a projection and that you and I are not our bodies, why are we taught that we are just our biological bodies and that our existence ends the moment that our biological heart ceases to pump blood? Why is education designed to strengthen left brain logic and reason and to weaken the right brain intuitive process? And why are psychedelics classified as dangerous if they help produce these exact same states of consciousness? And the answer, I think, is because a population that knows that they are eternal, that they are not confined to time and space, and that their consciousness will survive their mortal existence becomes a population that's very difficult to govern.
The gateway document is essentially the system admitting that the system is a hologram. Once you know that and once you feel it, you have a choice. You can keep living like the body is all you are, like time is a prison and death is the end. Or you can learn what the report actually says, that your body is one frequency in an infinite spectrum, that your brain is a tool for tuning, and that your consciousness has never been stuck here.
So the government basically proved that the universe is a hologram. The only question left to ask is, are you going to continue watching the projection, or are you going to get up and look behind the screen to learn how it actually works?
Do your own research. This is interesting.
You heard Woody Harrelson on SNL?
Yeah.
I'm red and blue, which makes purple. I'm purple. Leaned against a tree and started to read the craziest script. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes, and people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over.
Did you see that immediately after Woody Harrelson had that monologue on SNL, right after it, the next day, there's all these hit pieces. Like there's a hit piece in Vox, there's a hit piece in Vanity Fair, there's a hit piece calling him an anti-vaxxer and a stoner. And no. That's not what he's doing. He's a joke monologue on SNL about something that makes people laugh. The only reason why the joke works. The only reason why it works is because people are thinking it. And so when he makes that joke and he talks about them buying all the media, and then all the media responds as if they've been bought and paid for. That's pretty wild.
Ooh.
Like, man, how do you sleep at night? Like, the music industry is filled with bad money. And I've seen people, they take advantage. Like, it's literally designed in these contracts. Once I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's so manipulative. It's about, It's one person robbing another, robbing another, robbing another. And it's like, that's not a fun industry to be in. Like, clearly there's some people who figure it out. I don't want to operate in manipulation. And it's just like, that entire industry is designed off of it. But it's ways to, you know, far and few between, but you can operate with happy money and good money, because the crazy thing specifically about music, it brings so much joy to the world that the industry shouldn't be in a low frequency place. But there's a lot of people who aren't musically inclined, who aren't musically talented, who don't know how to have happiness with music, that latch on and control the artist.
There's a balance. It almost feels like there's a bit of a balance act, or a I don't know, a conflict between being selfish enough that you get on and you get what you deserve, but being generous and kind enough so that you can stick around. And
This is gonna be interesting.
Okay, y'all have to watch this clip from a show from 1981, and then let's talk about it after.
The ones you should be arresting, not me. Why don't you say that before? What we got here? Karen, this is William Klein. He was wrecking an office. I just wanted to meet them face to face. I wanted them to admit what they were doing. Who is they? He was in the office of the Trilateral Commission. Trilateral Commission? Yeah, the Trilateral Commission.
What is that?
All right, what is the Trilateral Commission? It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller to bring together business and political leaders from the United States, Europe, Japan, so they could work together for better economic and political cooperation between their nations. And that's what they'd like us to believe. But you see, what they're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country, to work to erase national boundaries, create an international community, and in time bring about a one-world government with David Rockefeller calling the shots. I take it they're pressing charges? Yeah, well, he broke a globe and some UNICEF artwork. Well, they're in on it too. Okay, Mr. Klein, if you just... I'm telling you, our whole way of life as we know it is in jeopardy. I appreciate that information. But I have the documented evidence. It's all in there. Show him. Well, he's got these magazines here. Conspiracy Review. Suppressed Truth Roundup. The whole master plan is exposed. Yeah, well, you're still not convinced, huh? Would you like to hear the names of just a few of the people who have been on the Trilateral Commission? Not particularly. James Earl Carter. Heard of him? Look, Mr. Klein. Henry Kissinger. You heard of him? Walter Mondale. Who? Mr. Klein, this is John Anderson, George Bush. Now, you remember at the convention, everybody thought it was going to be Ford for Veep. You know what happened? David Rockefeller just picked up a phone, put in a call. Hey, Ronnie, forget Jerry, it's George. Bye. No matter who won in November, they had their man in the White House.
Isn't it interesting that he was sharing all this information about the...
What the hell is that on her head? She got a tinfoil hat on? What is that?
corruption in our government, and they make him out to look crazy, of course. When in the late 60s, the CIA themselves coined the phrase conspiracy theorist to get people off track from actually knowing the truth and making those who are sharing the truth just look crazy. Isn't it funny?
This man publicly alleged Boeing of ignoring safety concerns on its airplanes, and he was recently found dead. This is John Barnett, and this is a crazy story. So John worked for Boeing for decades. He had a full career there, he was a very trusted employee, and everybody who knew John said he was a brave man with the highest levels of integrity a person could have. So John actually worked at Boeing as a quality control engineer and manager until he retired in 2017. But now we have to go to 2019. Do you remember when those two Boeing 737 planes nosedived after takeoff, killing everybody on board? That was a crazy, crazy time to be flying, and John actually went public and stated that Boeing was ignoring safety procedures and checkups on their planes. In fact, just a few months after those crashes, John told the BBC that he had seen workers fitting faulty parts on planes to rush to meet deadlines.
Crazy.
He also said that the oxygen masks on the 787 Dreamliner had a 1 in 4 chance of failing.
What?
Now, if there was somebody that was going to know the truth of this situation, I would assume it would be John, since he was on the floor working in the Boeing production facilities for over 3 decades. John also stated that at one point he wrote down some violations he saw, and he was then reprimanded, got in trouble by the company. They allegedly told him that they would rather have him tell them the problems in person, face to face, rather than document them. So Boeing has been non-compliant in a lot of these issues. Obviously, when your plane crashes are causing hundreds of deaths, I think you should be investigated to the max potential. But even recently, Boeing was back in the headlines when an exit door exploded mid-flight.
I remember that.
In fact, the Justice Department has actually opened up a criminal investigation into the matter, and Boeing has been accused of not being cooperative with investigators.
Wow.
They even recently admitted to Congress that they had no records in writing about that incident, which is very suspicious to me. So let's go back to 2019. John went public with his allegations against Boeing. They spoke out against John, and that's what led to the events that were happening just a few days ago. You see, this was all tied into a defamation lawsuit that John had actually brought against Boeing.
Ooh.
John was claiming that Boeing had actually hurt his career and his reputation because he had come forward with these allegations. He was alleging that they had basically smeared his name. So on Saturday, March 9th, just last week, John was supposed to show up to give some testimony in his deposition case. On that day, John was in South Carolina for the defamation suit, and he was supposed to answer some questions that day relating to all of these allegations. Now, according to John's legal team, people that knew him, he didn't seem like he was any different than he had ever been before that day. His lawyers have actually stated in interviews that he was in pretty good spirits, looking forward to putting all this behind him. The case was nearing an end. His lawyers also even said that they saw no indication that he would do anything to hurt himself. Well, on Saturday, when John didn't show up for the court proceedings, that's when people went to go check on him, and they found him dead in his truck parked in front of the hotel that he was staying at from a alleged self-inflicted gunshot wound.
What?
Now, obviously, this has a lot of people talking. People are questioning the fact that John would decide to take his own life on the day that he did, when he was supposed to be answering all of these questions and giving out information. And obviously, people from his legal team to people on the internet, lots of different individuals are calling for a full and thorough investigation of exactly what transpired here.
As they should.
Regardless, though, I think that Boeing has some serious questions to answer here throughout all of this. And seeing all these tragedies happening and witnessing the failure of Boeing's planes time and time again definitely has me a little more concerned when I fly nowadays.
That was a crazy story. I remember that.
Let's talk about conspiracy theories. It seems every time a major event occurs, almost immediately, we begin hearing various conspiracy theories. And yes, until proven, these are theories. But we've become far less trusting of our government, politicians, religion, financial systems, corporations, schools, and so on. And with good reason. We see plenty of evidence beyond theories to hold these opinions. But now it seems that everything is a conspiracy. A barge takes out a bridge, and within hours, the "this is why they did this" videos begin to circulate. Why is this? It's because we're becoming aware that we have been under the control of what I refer to as the Matrix for a very long time. Nothing is as it seems, and it's easy to surmise that everything must be a lie. Not long ago, the Matrix was more uniform, with common beliefs being promoted. Your town or culture or religion held beliefs that most adhered to. They conformed and obeyed. But now we're questioning more. This has a lot to do with social media. We have access now to each other, not just what is fed to us by entertainment and news organizations.
Very true.
What's the result of this? People are waking up, questioning more. And so the Matrix is reasserting itself. More fear, more judgment. And since we live in a polarized environment, meaning that our energy is never static, it's being tugged down, separating us from source consciousness, and then back up again, all the time. You experience this daily in your emotions. The separation from source creates the physical experience, and we can be drawn deeper into this matrix if we allow. And the lower our vibration, the more impacted by polarity we become. The more we need to pick a side to exit the confusion that we experience. and the more controllable we become. Think of someone that you know who strongly supports one political side. It doesn't matter which one. Are they primarily operating in joy and clarity, or are they constantly angry about the other side? In the U.S., we are no longer Americans. We're conservatives or liberals, Democrats or Republicans, MAGA or woke. The divide between rich and poor grows wider in this process. This is a sign of the matrix asserting itself more firmly as we question. The matrix is a vibration, it's energy like everything else, and it wants to stick around. So we see more things to potentially polarize us and lower our vibration. Fear, confusion, anger, judgment, these are all low vibrations that rob you of your creative power, your power to manifest your desires, even if that desire is just plain old well-being and peace of mind. So here's the answer. Question everything and judge nothing, because judgment and fear, which are the same thing, are lowering your vibration. And the folks at the top of what I call the abundance pyramid understand this. They know there is power in your fear and judgment of them. These folks are aware of what I'm revealing to you here. This is why they are allowing the things we collectively question to be seen. They're now saying the quiet part out loud, because they know your fear and judgment of them only empowers them more. So question, but understand the game. Take back your power. The reason rulers have power is because more fearful, lower vibration beings obey. And you literally do not have to fight or protest anything, because all creation is energy creation. That's the real power. Take your attention, your energy, away from that which you do not prefer. Stop fearing and judging it, and watch your life transform. More importantly, do this collectively, watch it ripple out into society, and watch humanity transform.
Hey, he was talking, bro. He was talking.
You know that declassified CIA document that says we live in a holographic reality? That the woman's womb is a portal? That you can literally send your consciousness to anywhere, whether it's past, present, or future, through astral projection and remote viewing? Yeah, well, the reason why the CIA was looking into this, because of this man. This is Robert Monroe. My previous video was all about him. He was born in the 1900s and he was a very successful businessman. Around 30 to 40, he started having these spontaneous out-of-body experiences. They freaked him out. He thought he had brain tumors. He thought he was going crazy. Every doctor he went to said he was perfectly fine. So he used his resources to hire a team of scientists to run experiments to figure out if what he's been experiencing could be replicated. He wanted to see if they could map out and explore as much of consciousness as they could. This is Thomas Campbell, an incredibly gifted physicist who was part of Bob Monroe's team. Campbell is very famous for his works in applied physics and metaphysics. So why did he want to work with Robert Monroe? When he was in college, he had some monks that came who offered to teach people how to meditate if they brought them a piece of fruit, I believe. He had time to kill. He thought it was going to end up being a scam. He gave his banana, and it was a life-changing experience for him. Being the scientist that he is, he was trying to figure out how to explain what he experienced, and he couldn't. So he got a job and continued to meditate. One day, he heard that Bob Monroe was coming into town talking about the out-of-body experiences that he's had. He with some coworkers went to go listen to him. Monroe mentioned that he was looking for scientists so that they could test what he experienced to see if they could replicate it. Campbell was like, I'm a scientist. I'd love to work with you. But you see, Campbell was still relatively young. Monroe was looking for older scientists that had some credibility to their name, who had a track record, but none of them wanted to work with him. They all thought it was woo-woo nonsense. So Campbell and a couple of other young scientists joined the team. Campbell's biggest focus was to bring scientific validation to everything that was being done. He wanted to demystify the mysticism. He wanted to use the scientific process to explain everything. So they studied it systematically. They were able to separate genuine experiences from anecdotal claims or misunderstandings. His book, My Big Toe, which documents the entire journey, freaking mind-blowing, guys. Freaking mind-blowing. For example, in the East, they talk about these sacred mantras, sacred words that if you repeat can take you to higher states of consciousness. What they found through testing is that it's not specific word, but rather the tone, the vibration that it carries. I believe in the book, he says you could even say something like Abba-bardi-dum, Abba-bardi-dum, and just repeat that. You can achieve the same thing. It honestly is one of the most fascinating books I've ever read. It bridges the gap between science and spirituality so well. But it doesn't stop there. He describes his journey of being able to access higher states of consciousness and the interdimensional beings that live in a higher vibration than we do, spiritual guides, if you will, he met and the teachings he got along the way. You know how there's a declassified CIA document that maps out the Galactic Federation? Yeah, well, some people have experience with it. Craziest thing too is you only have access to it if they let you have access. He described one journey where he was meditating and basically there were two beings and they're like, hey man, you're where you need to be with your progress. You can't do this anymore. And he's like, the door was sealed. He wasn't able to access those states of consciousness for 20 years until someone reopened it. The reason why he called the book My Big Toe is because these are the things that he has learned through experience. And his only objective is to lay out the information so that other people can gain knowledge through experience, which of course, experience is the greatest teacher. So what does Thomas Campbell say that this life is? Oh, he says it's a simulation. Yeah, he says we're in a holographic reality that is a projection of consciousness that you are both a creator and participant in. You ever had that experience where you're like, man, this doesn't even feel real? Thomas Campbell has something to say about that.
Yo, this is interesting stuff here.
There is a record of technologies that existed on Earth, of civilization more advanced than we are now. And the question is, were there some use of some type of electrogravitic levitation technologies that were used? The other problem is, even when the Smithsonian paid $5 million to simulate using mathematics and the technology that archaeologists say existed back in the time of the pyramids, those obelisks, like the Washington Monument, but those were all one big piece of stone, they couldn't raise the smallest one. With everything we know now about mathematics and engineering, with what's been postulated. So there's something doesn't add up there. But I think it's a bridge too far to claim they were built by ETs. But they were certainly, their construction and the precision of the stones cut, how far they were moved, how they were put into place. There are a lot of questions I have, but I have no proof of how that might have happened, except the man I referred to earlier from Redstone Arsenal area, who is given material occasionally, is not always extraterrestrial. He has been given objects that are tens of thousands of years old or older, that are technological, that have been found in the ocean and elsewhere, that were of human origin and were extremely advanced technologies. So I believe that it's likely that on Earth, prior to the modern era, there have been civilizations far advanced beyond where we are, that for which we have very little record. And when that record is found, I think it's kind of swept under the carpet. Of course. You know, it's interesting. There were years ago when they did the Mars images, and they found that there were these obelisks and strange looking objects on Mars. I went out to the Goddard Space Flight Center here outside DC to meet with Mark Carlotto and some other scientists there. And they said, yep, it's been pixelated out for the public, but there are structures there. And they were very ancient, but we're talking millions of years old. Millions. Crazy. And I was out in California after I had disclosed this to some people, and a man came up to me from JPL, Jet Propulsion Labs, and I didn't know him. He knew who I was and said, Dr. Greer, here's the issue. You're right, those exist, but we can't disclose that. I said, why? It's not an operational ET device. It's not, it's old. He says, yes, but you don't understand how powerful this information is. I said, why? He says, if this was disclosed, it would collapse the fundamentalist orthodox belief systems of every religion on earth.
What?
In the music industry, they praise the rain god. Do you know about this?
No.
If you praise the rain god, you're supposed to get a bunch of money, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to realize all the words that we say that relates to money is what? It's like liquidation. Cash sharks, or what do you call it? Loan sharks.
Yeah.
And what do you call this when you have a jewelry on? Oh, that's just water, fam. That's just drip. Icy. It's drip. Dog, it's all in our face. If you look at Tyla's hit song, Water. Don Toliver also has a song. Hold on, Deep in the Water. A Boogie with the hoodies hit song.
Gonna drip or drown.
That's what put him on. Fam, A Boogie and Kodak. Drowning.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to show you all these things that in the Umbrella, in Rihanna's Umbrella music video, doesn't this, when she was doing poses, This is her praising the rain god because look, she goes like this, but look at her thing. These are the eyes and these are the horns.
It made like a demon head.
Fam, yo, look. It says
Anticipation.
Anticipation for participation. Stack chips for any rainy day. Jay, Rain Man is back. Fam, do you bag that? Look,
This is an umbrella.
Yes.
Ella.
And then this is also in Eminem's song. It's called Rain Man.
Yeah.
My aim was not become what I become with this level of fame. My soul is possessed by the devil. My new name, Rain Man.
What the
It's everywhere, fam.
What?
NASA shuts off instrument on Voyager 1 to keep spacecraft operating. That thing is 15 billion miles away, or at least that's what they say. They're just gonna press a button that's just gonna throw it into low power mode real quick. They said this thing was launched in 1977. It's 50 years old. And now because they need a believable excuse for how something 50 years old is still just chugging along. Like, oh, we're just gonna put it in low power mode so it can keep going and keep feeding you guys information and pictures that aren't real so we can see just how many of you we can fool. Their plan is to conserve energy by shutting off heaters and instruments while making sure the spacecraft doesn't get too cold that their fuel lines will freeze. In a place where it's negative 455 degrees. And this is an official photo from NASA of Voyager 1. How the hell do you get a close-up picture of something 15 fucking billion miles away? And not just once, several pictures in different locations. They can zoom into this thing 15 billion miles away, but for some reason they're not able to zoom into the supposed flag that's on the moon. If you can get this picture, there is zero reason why you wouldn't be able to get a picture of the flag. And all the sheep are like, oh, well, that's not how telescopes work. Like, the moon is really big and the flag is small, so it's impossible to zoom in that close to it and find it. Okay, so then explain this.
15 billion miles is crazy.
What is the Freemasonry stuff?
It's basically, well, it's a secret society, but basically it's a form of Luciferianism where you become your own god, and it's a structured thing where that's slowly revealed to you until you get to the top. But all their rituals are inversions of Catholic rituals, and or they're basically taken from various forms of witchcraft.
So did it stem out of the Catholic Church?
Historically, it started. The reason they're called Freemasons is because the Masonry guilds in the early during the Middle Ages, the guys would started these guilds to protect the craft of their buildings and that type of thing, and it was originally designed to maintain standards and that type of thing. But then it slowly morphed into by the time you get to the late into the 1600s and then definitely into the 1700s, by the time it morphs into what we're seeing now. So by the time you get to like 1717, which is when it was officially established in France, it's already the whole structure is laid out. So originally it was to make sure that guys knew the craft, but then it turned into witchcraft over the course of time.
This stuff is crazy, bro.
Everything We Know is a Lie, part 10,302. The real New Year's isn't January 1st. It is actually allegedly TikTok. Allegedly, an energy harvesting and a celebration that pays homage to the ancient Roman god Janus. Before we get into it, guys, make sure y'all follow my YouTube. I'm gonna link it above just in case TikTok actually gets banned. I'm about to blow your mind. If you haven't heard of... My daughter's playing on her little toy. Don't mind her. If you haven't heard about this, don't feel bad, because I'm just finding this out today. Janus is the god of gates, beginnings and endings, transitions and time. And it even says in the Bible that the beginning of the year is not January, somewhere between March and April. As you can see right here from another creator, as you can see from the screenshot from another creator, you can look at the bottom left to go look at his video if you'd like. Just think about it. Thousands upon thousands of people fled to New York City in Times Square to watch this ball drop. And millions of people around America are celebrating this new year. On said new year, they are using their energy to make New Year's resolutions. Y'all know that biblically, we are supposed to have discipline every single day. And that lack of discipline is exactly why our resolutions usually last about 3 business days.
That's
we
real.
Still have a fupa, and we still munch on snacks in the middle of the night scrolling TikTok until 5 in the morning. Am I right? Okay. No. With that being said, energy is literally being harvested all around America for this day that literally actually isn't even the first day of the year. Just think about it. Nature literally tells us, why would the first day of the year not be in spring when everything is made new, but would rather be in winter when everything is cold and dead? And don't y'all find it funny that Janus has one head looking in the past and one head looking in the future? And when the ball drops, the fireworks go up and the ball goes down. And also, not for nothing, isn't Janus the god, quote unquote, of gates? Didn't the Pope just open up a door or portal or gate that people believe directly links to the spiritual realm? If y'all want me to get into that, I can definitely make a video on it because it's crazy. I'm starting to understand why the Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate all these holidays, because it's literally rooted in things that are not of God. Not to mention, I'm just now finding out that there's supposed to be 13 months, not 12. And just to bring in a touch of conspiracy into this is all alleged TikTok, it's satire, it's a hoax, none of this is true. What about all the spikes in unalivings and car crashes and drunkenness that happens on New Year's Day? On top of them harvesting our energy, so many people are actually creating bridges between the spiritual realm and our realm by not being of sober mind and getting completely wasted and making the worst decisions of their life on this day. Y'all, we have got to open our eyes. In 2025, I'm questioning everything. As always, make sure you guys like and follow and comment down below what you think.
That's wild. 13 months.
I even seen this video about this guy. I don't remember if he got into a car accident or something, but he couldn't use his legs anymore. He became paralyzed. He would like sit and close his eyes and envision his spine reconstructing. He was envisioning that, and he would sit there and do that for hours because he was just becoming hopeless. Like, damn, like this sucks, whatever. Bro.
Off the sheer willpower.
Off of the sheer willpower and him just believing and actually envisioning him fixing his spine. One day, bro, he calls his wife into the kitchen and he's standing up.
Wow.
And she damn near was like, what the fuck?
That's actually insane.
And that's a real story, yeah. And he ended up going on, I don't remember if it was Dr. Phil or some shit, but, and he even was talking about it, and he ended up making like this whole, technically like a class type thing, telling people like, bro, you need to expand your mind and understand, you know, you really believe this type of shit and you have the sheer willpower, bro. I think there's this weird thing in the universe of,
if you really do put your heart into something, bro, like something crazy like that, you know what I mean? Like, I think you probably really can, bro.
Yes. What y'all think? Do you think that's possible?
You know, when you see the astronauts and it looks like there's wires, you know, reflections off the wires. It's hard to explain that. I tried to. I said, you know, the way that piece of equipment is, it could be this, but I agree it looks weird. And the way the astronauts fall doesn't look natural, but it's 1/6 gravity. It could be weird. You know, I try to be open-minded to all of it. It's an episode that still confounds me. I go back and forth depending on who I talk to about whether it really happened. And I think the percentage of Americans who don't believe that we went to the moon is just rising every year. I hope I have nothing to do with that.
I'm sure you have something to do with that.
But you know, they lost the tapes, all the original tapes of the moon landing. What you watch when Neil Armstrong climbs off the LEM, One Small Step for Man, that's not a direct feed from anything. That was projected on a wall in NASA, and the networks aimed their camera at the wall to get like this projection. And the networks were like, hey, can we just get the direct feed? Because that would be a lot better. And they're like, no, we're going to do it this way. And then they lost all those tapes. They lost the telemetry.
How?
And when asked, why don't we go back? NASA said, well, we can't replicate that technology. It's too difficult.
Yeah, isn't there like some I don't know what you call it. We can't get past a certain point, supposedly. And they said I think it was your episode. They're like, we lost the technology. It's like you lost the technology to get us to the moon. You just happened to lose it?
Nobody wrote.
Where did it go?
They just lost it.
Crazy.
You might be talking about the Van Allen radiation belt.
That's it.
Right, which is high velocity particles. And it's this energetic field that surrounds the Earth and is very dangerous. And if you're aware of something called the South Atlantic anomaly, it's this part of our geomagnetic field that is it's burning a hole through it. If you look at it on like an electromagnetic map, it's just a big hole. It's getting bigger, and now it's starting to branch off into a second one, and nobody knows why that's happening. And geomagnetism and the pole shifts and all that, I can go down that rabbit hole too, because all that stuff terrifies me.
Do it.
Solar radiation and the grid going down, all that stuff terrifies me. So the Van Allen radiation belts, that you have NASA astronauts saying, oh, we think we found a way now that we can get out of, high Earth orbit that we could finally get past the Van Allen radiation belts. It's like, we already did that, man, didn't we? Didn't we do that 17 times or whatever? But they forgot. They lost it. Can't replicate it.
Unbelievable.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it either.
So just let us know what's going on.
On top of that, there was a space race or a race to the moon between us and Russia during the Cold War, right?
There was, and Russia was first to everything. We were behind on everything. Russia has first, Sputnik goes up, Sputnik 2 goes, so first man-made satellite in orbit, first man in orbit, first animal in orbit, first woman in orbit, first spacewalk, first geostationary satellites, all first. And we're falling behind, and you can hear JFK giving speeches, and they're pressing him on it. And like the Saturn program's not going well, and the rockets are blowing up on the launch pads. And he's saying, like, no matter how much money we throw at it, we're going to be second. We're going to be second. You can hear him talking about it. And then suddenly, 1969, we're there. We surpass all of it. We surpass all of the Soviets' accomplishments, and we go and we land on the moon. Okay. It seemed like we took a great leap forward there, but there's really no explanation for it.
Did we? Yeah.
Well, where do you stand on it?
I'm like you. I go back and forth. I wonder what I would think had we not been through COVID and all these other things, Epstein and all these other things that keep coming out that destroy any trust in any government institution there is.
Ooh, that's interesting.
The Canadian government is now running ads trying to convince people to take their own lives. This is not a joke. What I'm about to show you is an actual ad from the Canadian government.
Sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it.
So not only is the Canadian government offering people the supplies needed and the medical assistance that they need to take their own lives, they are now trying to convince people to come and take that action. Right now, we're looking at more than 15,000 people per year taking their own lives with government assistance. And now that they're running ads for it, that number is only going to increase. Not only that, but many of the people who are taking their own lives aren't even doing it because they choose to. They are being pressured by family members, by doctors, by friends. It is horrible. Countless patients have also reported that the doctors are bringing up medical assistance in dying before the patient even mentions it, which means that the doctors are telling people to do this before it's ever even brought up by the patient. Every human, every single human, no matter how sad you might be feeling, no matter how horrible you think your life is, you are deserving of the dignity of life.
Yes.
It cannot be taken away from you. You should not take it away from yourself. And the government definitely should not be trying to convince you to take it away. Outside of abortion, medical assistance in dying is one of the most evil things that we are doing in today's world. It needs to be put to an end. We could save thousands of lives every single month if we end this horrible, horrible practice. It is disgusting. God bless.
Bro, it's like that in Canada. Y'all let me know, bro. That's crazy.
Gee, I wonder why, Kevin.
What's the thing where they said people eating babies? What was that?
That was Pizzagate, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I was in that too.
You was in Pizzagate?
That's what they said.
Oh, you wow, they wow,
Yeah,
wow.
I was eating babies.
You up there.
Wow.
They think you like, so the restaurant is going to be a baby-based restaurant, so you're going to eat babies. What is it? What is it?
At the end of the dinner party, Seinfeld came walking out. He was like, nobody go anywhere. We're going to have some brick oven pizza.
After dinner.
Everybody went crazy in the party. What? Oh my God, brick oven pizza. One lady was like, how many cheeses, Jerry?
Is it?
Jerry was like, 7 different cheeses, 7 different cheeses. People went crazy. They start chanting, bop, 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 bop. It's bop, man. Bop, bop, bop. What the f*** is is bop. White woman leaned over the table. She was like, it's short for brick oven pizza. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Seinfeld had some Italian men walk out. They had pizza-like garb on. People were eating the pizza going crazy. Oh my God, I taste the cheeses, Jerry. I taste the cheeses. They bought me my piece of pizza. I took a bite. I couldn't believe it. Best pizza I've ever had in my life. Best pizza I've ever had. Had some type of lettuce on it. I've never tasted this shit. My white baby's got some type of lettuce on it. Wait till you taste the lettuce.
Those of you who know he's not talking about pizza. And the craziest part about this is I did a video on this years ago, and think about what's coming to light now. Kind of makes sense.
Lost me with this pizza thing. Y'all gotta let me know what that means.
Do you want to know how the CIA faked vampire attacks to take over an entire country? History is so cool. So a few months ago, I read JFK and the Unspeakable, and it made me want to learn about Operation Mongoose and the Bay of Pigs and everything that led up to the JFK assassination. So I've been going through every document possible that's been released by the CIA, and I wanted to understand everything that led up to 1962 and 1963 of the assassination. And this brought me down a rabbit hole of figuring out who Edward Lansdale was. Because not only was he involved with Operation Mongoose, he was involved with Vietnam before we were supposed to even be there. So he was in the Air Force until 1947 before getting picked up by the CIA. And even though they say he wasn't picked up until 1963, which is sus in its own way, this guy was using psychological warfare on his enemies to defeat guerrilla wars in the Philippines, specifically the Huck Rebellion in the early 1950s. Now, to give you a little backstory, right after World War II took place, the United States came into the South Asian Pacific and just started taking over all of their territory and sucking up their natural resources and land. So between 1945 and 1950, there was a rebellious group of pretty much farmers that were getting together, and they were angry at their government because they were giving everything to the United States. Even though this was started by farmers in central Luzon, there's a lot of stories and evidence that shows that the reasoning behind this was for good reasoning. They were just tired of their own farmland and foods and resources being stolen from the United States. And of course, the United States didn't like that because they wanted the Philippines. They now controlled all of the Asian South Pacific after World War II. And if you watch my other videos on the EHM strategies from Confessions of an Economic Hitman with John Perkins, you would know that the US and the CIA had been involved with multiple operations that would suppress third world countries and allow the United States to take over a lot of their natural resources as well as take over their exports and their trading routes. So of course they're going to classify this group as a Soviet group relating to the Cold War and that they are part of the Communist Party and partnered with the Soviets, which did actually have some truth to it. So in order to make the deal of a lifetime, the United States needed to do something. And that's where vampires come in. You see, Lansdale, specializing in psychological warfare specifically, was studying the culture of Filipinos at the time. At one point, he strapped a loudspeaker to some form of aircraft, whether it was a plane or a helicopter, and with a loudspeaker, put a curse in their own language, had a curse, someone speaking with curses saying, hey, if you do not retreat or turn yourselves in at the time, your family will be cursed for the rest of your history.
Really?
And it actually worked. A lot of these guerrilla groups started starving and being forced out because the local villages did not want to help them out because they thought some blood-sucking creature or curse was going to be put onto their families for years to come.
What?
And this is where the CIA gets crazy. See, they really take out the guerrilla group's leader at the time. According to Edward Lansdale's memoir, he had the CIA leak stories to the villagers and the Hux groups that there was a blood-sucking aswang, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, aswang, it's going to be kind of a blood-sucking creature similar to a vampire, and waited for a few days to these villages to believe that there was some creature in the mountains killing soldiers. With those rumors and everybody scared, he then sent a military operating group that would go out and kidnap a single guerrilla member that was on patrol that evening. They then would kill this soldier and take two sharp objects and inject two holes into his neck, making it look like that he had drained all of his blood. They would hang him outside, drain that blood, and then they left him on the trail to be found. So when the Hux, as superstitious as any other Filipino that was there at the time, discovered the bloodless comrade, they fled from the region. And it worked. Now, conveniently, the Philippines thanked the United States for just ridding of these rebels from their mountainsides, but that's not enough for the US. Instead of leaving, the CIA at the time, back to Edward Lansdale here, he had been making huge connections with Ramon Magsaysay.
and convinces him to run for president in the Philippines. And over his campaign running for president, him and Lansdale got really close. There's even allegations that Lansdale actually knocked out the former president at the time at one point because he wanted to write his own speech and didn't want to give a speech that the CIA had written for him. However, that's the only part that I can't find any documents that were released on that show evidence of that. Of course, every leader that is involved with the CIA, Raymond ended up passing away in a plane crash in 1957. However, of course, that took place after the United States already had him pass any laws that they needed. For example, banning any forms of the Communist Party. Now, Lansdale's story didn't end there. He then got transferred to Vietnam, like I mentioned earlier, and he would start participating in multiple operations well before the Vietnam War actually kicked off. He was a part of Operation Wandering Soul, which was a propaganda campaign and psychological warfare effort exercised by U.S. forces during the Vietnam War, and it was an attempt to increase desertions and defections from Viet Cong forces and weaken their morale. Specifically by trying to do the same tactics that they just did in the Philippines by strapping loudspeakers to, once again, a helicopter and playing ghost noises, and trying to convince them that there was ghosts living in the forest to scare them out of the jungle. So you can see the influence that he ended up having on the CIA. But that brings us all the way back to 1962, where he was now the lead and in charge of the Operation Mongoose, which of course is the operation that was put into effect after the failed attempt of the Bay of Pigs invasion and ultimately led up to the assassination of JFK in 1963. Now, all of this is documented. He wrote a book on this, and it's even in his memoir that the CIA published. So if you appreciate these videos, please leave me a like, a comment, share this video, save this video, repost it. Because these people have been trying to silence me with information that is all 100% factual. I show all my sources and evidence and CIA documents that have been released on these videos. So share this with anyone that would ask themselves this one question.
Today I'm going to show you some people who expose the government and what they expose them for. There's a pretty high likelihood that you would have never heard about these people unless you watched this video. The first person we're going to start off with is Mark Klein. See, Mark's background, he was a former AT&T technician. The United States National Security Agency reached out to AT&T and said they wanted to put this hardware chip in every single telecommunications device. It would record you, monitor you, capture you. It would basically be like every time you talked on the phone, there was somebody listening.
Whoa.
The next one we're going to talk about is Vera English. Vera English worked at GE, which is General Electric for those who are unaware. See, Vera discovered that there was widespread radiation contamination going out to GE products. So Vera went up to the supervisors and told them, hey, basically this is happening and it needs to stop now. Instead of fixing it, they got fired. The last and my favorite one, my man Jeffrey. Jeffrey exposed the big tobacco corporations and it changed everything to this day. See, back then they used to say that cigarettes or tobacco was extremely healthy for you, even showing commercials for it. They would make commercials showing doctors smoking cigarettes to make them look cool and make it look like it was healthy. Well, it turned out that these big tobacco companies knew just how unhealthy it was, knowing it would cause cancer and 100 different things, and Jeffrey exposed all of it and it changed everything to this day. All of these companies had something to do with the government, and I'm glad they came out, and there is more to come.
Crazy, bro. Doctors smoking cigarettes, bro.
Why do you think we exist? We believe that this is Matrix. This Matrix bullshit my wife believes. Wife saying the same shit this nigga said. And well done. It's the reason that everything fits together. Like, it would be enough if there was. Do you believe in other lives? You lived other lives? I know that the whatever is in our body, whatever that weighs, I know that when it leaves here, it still weighs that in the universe. So it's somewhere. It came to you from somebody. Yes. Wow, right? It came to you from somebody. When it leaves you, it's going to go someone else. Yeah. It's the reason that when you're young, there's a lot of things that you learn that nobody taught you at all. You just... This whole world is just one big school. Right. One big school. And when we die, we're not going to know as much as we died, but even as much as we lived. You know, we don't know anything. Only thing we know is what they told us in those books. Right. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. That's how you know that there's truth in the history, though, because we're now in a place now in history where we're able to know more about the universe than ever. Like, we've been to places now. You know what I mean? We've been to all these planets and we've had these experiences unlike anybody else in history. But the problem is that whatever they said about the planets 6,000 years ago,
bullshit.
No, it was all true, and we are just now finding out. So the question is, how the fuck did they know?
Exactly.
Why did they say Mars was the red planet before they got there and explained to us that that's what it was like and what the environment was? How did they know about the rings on that planet, and why were they correct about it? And if they're that correct, what were... I'm saying...
Like I said, who are we? Who's our ancestors? When it first started, how did my ancestor look? My millions ancestor. Wow, I can't even say a million ain't nothing. A million years ain't shit compared to time. Trillion, who's my trillion? Ooh, life is a bitch, huh?
Right.
There's no time. We made time, but it's really eternity.
That's what you were saying when you said the 365 days. So before somebody called it that, then how old were you? Like, how were you measuring your
Before Julius Caesar said, hey, motherfucker, this is going to be 1 year because I can't take this shit. So it's no such thing as time. It's eternity, and we turned it into time.
Yeah. I thought when I was real young, I thought if you was a great, great man, you generally died around 25 or 26. So I had planned my life according to that. And I got into this thing about 6 or 7 years old where I was like, yeah, every 7 years, that's almost like a new you. And so I've kept that model going my entire life. So, I've lived 7 whole existences that were separate from the one before it, taking what it takes from it, but yeah.
That's amazing. You could just fuck my whole head up right there with all that shit, man.
When you do die young, it's the way it is.
Mike Tyson be getting high, be having some crazy conversation.
So tell me why the government built a machine to see the future. Not a metaphor, not a movie plot. An actual classified device buried in black budget programs, known as Project Looking Glass. Whistleblowers say that this thing could like view future timelines, like a cosmic search engine. Like you ask it a question and it shows you what happens next. Like they say that the elites use it to try and stay ahead, alter outcomes, manipulate events, control history. But here's where it gets wild. Around 2012, every possible future they saw ended the same way. It ended in an awakening, like a mass realization, like their control was fucking collapsing.
Wow.
And no matter what they did, all paths led to a future that they couldn't stop. So they shut down the fucking machine. But ask yourself this, right? Like, why were they so afraid of us knowing our future unless we were meant to win? If you've heard of Project Looking Glass, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, follow, and share.
I ain't never heard of that. Looking Glass? I ain't never heard of that one.
A huge leak just came out 5 hours ago exposing over 1,000 government surveillance projects that they were trying to keep hidden from you. Let me expose some of the craziest ones. So number 1, they're building software that can track you across cameras in completely different areas, even if your face is hidden. Number 2, they're adding software to cameras that does predictive policing and can look at a crowd and threat assess individual people based off their actions so they can see if you're a high-level threat, even if you haven't done anything, and pay more attention to you. Number 3, they now have a database of over 50 billion images scraped from the web that allows them to recognize basically any American citizen from a blurry image. I feel like a couple books or movies might have warned us about this.
All right, y'all, that was another TikTok compilation, man. Conspiracy Theory Squad. I told y'all this was gonna be crazy. It was some stuff in here. You made it this far, you a real one for real, bro. Listen. This stuff is wild. Project Looking Glass, and then they destroyed it because everything was leading to an awakening. Listen, man, you a real one for real if you made it this far. Also, I got a TikTok playlist. If you into this stuff, you can binge watch, but proceed with caution because it's crazy. But till next time, man, self-love and positivity. Fire Squad, I got you and you know it.